Have you ever considered what it would be like to be a D&D character in real life? There are some cantrips used in campaigns that would be incredibly useful in your day-to-day life. Although cantrips are often thought to be used in adventures, why wouldn't people use them for common purposes? Today, I want to talk about cantrips that I think would be the most useful to use in your everyday life. So, first, we're going to start with just the light cantrips. There are, I think, 5 or 6 on this list that I have in front of me that are just cantrips that produce light. The first one being Control Flames. You can use this to make a bonfire larger, double or half the area of bright light and dim light cast by the flame, change the flame's color, or both. This lasts for 1 hour and could help make more light in a room with a candle or a fireplace and create more ambiance with a colorful flame. I know there's those log things you can buy at like stores to change the color of a bonfire. This could do that same thing. This could just be a cool trick at bonfires or for kids using candlelight. So I do really like control flames. Create bonfires sounds like it would be useful, but it only lasts for 1 minute. So you would just have to keep recreating the bonfire. And I don't know if that's as good as these other light spells. Dancing light can be useful if you're going somewhere dark. It also has a disadvantage of lasting 1 minute, but you could recast it. So these are like floating lights in the background. Light is good for obvious reasons. You just touch something, it lights up. That's a really good cantrip. Just for like going down to your basement, you don't have to use your phone flashlight. And then produce flame would be great for making light instead of your phone light, and it would just look cooler. What I think about when I think of this is that one X-Men character, I think it's Pyro, that does like the lighter light coming out of his finger. I really like that. You can attack with the flame, but I would use it for light. I mean, there's not a lot of instances that you would have to throw fire at somebody, but I guess if it happens, you would have that option. It lasts for 10 minutes, which is plenty of time for like smaller walks or just going down to your basement, going through your backyard, going on like a trail in the woods. This would be okay for. And then, like the other cantrips, you could just recast if that's not enough time. Leaving the lights, leaving the light cantrips, I guess. Druidcraft could be good. You can create a tiny sensory effect to predict the weather for the next 24 hours. So this would make weathermen a lot better than they currently are. You can make a flower blossom, a seed pod open, or a leaf bud bloom. So this would be really good for people that have gardens and stuff along those lines. You can instantly light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire. So this is also useful for like the light spells. You could light something to produce light, but you could also just snuff something out. Maybe your fireplace is still going and you want to turn it off because you're about to go to bed. You can just use Druidcraft. Mage Hand would be great for grabbing small items throughout the day. There is a 5 pound weight limit, but you could grab your remote. You could play harmless pranks on your friends, like turning off the lights or moving something they just put down. It is visible, which might give you away, but I think there is such possibility for such good pranks here that you could sneakily do with the Mage Hand. Mending might be one of my favorite cantrips on the list. It can repair a break or a tear in an object you touch, as long as it's no longer than 1 foot in dimension, so a decent amount. You can mend it. So this would be great for repairing clothes. I have a lot of issues with jeans tearing along my thigh, and this would save me a lot of money. I think this is probably one of my favorites because of just how much you could do with it. I mean, the number of items that break throughout the day that you could just mend would be incredible. I might just be a little clumsy, I might just break things too often, but I think mending would be incredibly useful to me. And then we have message. Message would be a fun way to talk to your friends or convey a secret message to somebody else. Maybe you want to message somebody about something a colleague said or misunderstand something in class. you could send a message to another classmate, see if they can reply back, because the target hears the message and it can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. So you can get an answer back. You can cast this through solid objects if you're familiar with the target and know it is beyond the barrier. It doesn't have to follow a straight line and can travel freely around corners or through openings. So you could cast this across the room, you could cast this into the next room, and just message people. And I think that's great. Like I said, really good way to talk to your friends, especially if you're like in the middle of class or in the middle of work. And it's a good way to secretly tell somebody something, maybe draw their attention to something. I do really like message. It's not my favorite on the list, but I do think it has a lot of uses. Prestidigitation, a cantrip that I am very bad at saying, is an incredible pick here. There are 3 effects of the available 6 that I think would be great to use. You can instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire. So similar to Druidcraft earlier, you can produce light and you can extinguish light. That could be fun. You instantaneously clean or soil an object no longer than 1 cubic foot. You could use this to clean stains off of things, which I think is incredible. Maybe you're eating and you get a little bit of sauce on your shirt. Maybe your pet goes to the bathroom on your couch or something. This would be a really good way to clean that up. You chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for an hour. This would be great for warming up food or chilling a hot pocket so you don't have to do the breathing thing. You know the breathing thing, the until it goes away. I do have a noise suppression, so I'm realizing that might not have actually worked. But we'll see how it shakes out. So I do think Prestidigitation is such a good pick here. I think it gets rid of the reason to have a microwave, honestly. You can clean things so quickly. I think cleaning is probably the best use out of Prestidigitation, in my opinion. And then you can still light or snuff out small flames. So this is an incredible cantrip to take in real life. It is solid in D&D, but I don't think it's as useful in D&D as it would be in your day-to-day. Shape water might not be as useful as I would have previously thought. You can use it to change the flow of water, which could be good for staying dry or redirecting water away from something. You can change the form into simple shapes, which could be a fun party trick. Same with changing the color or opacity of the water. You can freeze the water, which would be good if you need ice cubes. I don't think it's super useful, but it's still good enough to make it onto the list. Spare the dying could be useful. I think this is situational. You could go into a hospital and touch someone that is terminally ill. The issue is that the cantrip doesn't heal the problem. It just stabilizes the creature to 0 HP. So I know a lot of people have said this is a good way to save lives in hospitals and everything. This is a good way to save somebody's life if they're like about to go into shock, or if they're on the verge of dying and you need to get a little bit more time until the EMT show up. I don't think it's as useful as a lot of people assume it is. And then we have Thaumaturgy. This could be good situationally also. You can make your voice boom up to 3 times as loud as normal for 1 minute. This could be good in presentations or when you're trying to get the attention of a group in a loud environment. Maybe you're trying to shout for somebody in a crowd. This could make it a lot better. You can cause flames to flicker, brighten, dim, or change color for 1 minute. I think that is solid. It could add some brightness to the room. It could like change the light of the room. I think it's decent, but a lot of modern day doesn't use flame. So I don't think it would come up as often as you would probably want it to. You could also prank people with this by causing harmless tremors, causing a sound from up to 30 feet away, causing an unlocked door or window to fly open or slam shut, or altering the appearance of your eyes. This could be really good for tricking somebody into thinking the house is haunted. I think that's the best use case for thaumaturgy, is tricking somebody into thinking the house is haunted. I think the making your voice louder is really good, but I don't think it's going to come up super often unless you public speak a lot or need to talk in loud environments a lot. So, to wrap us up, my top 3 here would be Mage Hand, Mending, and Prestidigitation. Message is a pretty close fourth on this list. I think it has a lot of cases where this would be really useful. But you can also text message people. It's just more likely that somebody's going to notice you texting somebody. Mage Hand is incredible, like I said, because you can just pick up things. You would never have to get up to get your remote anymore. You would probably gain a few pounds, but it would be a really good cantrip to have. Mending is incredible because you can just fix small tears and small breaks and things. So this would be really good for just fixing things that break in your everyday life. And then Prestidigitation, like I said, I think the biggest thing for me here is that you can remove stains. And that could be really good, especially like I said, if you get food on your shirt, but also if you get like oil on your pants. I've gotten oil on my pants during my oil changes before I do my own oil changes because of the type of car I have. It can be hard to find a place that will do them for me. And I get oil on my pants sometimes, and it has ruined a couple pairs of pants. I pretty much have to have a pair of pants for oil changes, which can kind of suck. So in fourth place, I think I would probably take Mending. I break a lot of stuff, and like I said, it would save me money on jeans. So let me know in the comments which cantrip you would like to have the most. Let me know if there's any cantrips that you think I should have put on this list, because there are a lot of D&D cantrips. I pretty much Googled cantrips for 5 E's. So let me know if there's any cantrips you think should have made the list. Let me know what cantrip you would take. And let me know if there's use cases that I'm forgetting about with some of these cantrips. Other than that, guys, I hope everybody is having an amazing day. If you did like the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to be notified when videos are released, and leave a comment. Like I said, share this with your friends, your family, your D&D party. And until next time, guys, peace.